Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sharad Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Wildlife Sciences, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. In today's lecture, we will learn about chemical capture techniques. So these are the techniques, chemical capture techniques used to capture the wild animals. So why we capture wild animals? So first of all, the question in our mind is why we capture wild animals. What is the need to capture the wild animals? Why we want to capture the free wild animals? So we capture the wild animal for conservation purposes. For example, there are some problematic animals, and sometimes these problematic animals come inside the human settlements, or there are some animals which become the man-eaters, and there are some animals who become the threat to the human life or the human properties. Then we need to capture these animal and translocate these animal to some other places such type zoos or inside the forest areas. And sometimes we need to capture the animal for the reintroduction program. For example, there are certain areas where due to human interferences or some other regions, parent population or the original population is extinct, locally extinct, and we want to reintroduce the animal or the species in that areas. For example, that gaur is locally extinct from the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. Then they are reintroduced from Kanha Tiger Reserve. So to reintroduce gaur into the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, that forest department and the conservationists capture these gaurs and translocated to the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. And we also capture the wild animals for population management. There are certain areas where there is a low density, while there are certain areas where we have high density. So for population management, forest department translocated animals from high density areas to low density areas. And sometimes if population of certain species is increasing very quickly and they become problem for the management, then we need to capture and sterilize those population. For example, the population of stray dogs around the protected area is increasing very rapidly and they are creating problem for the wild animals, and the population of rhesus macaque is increasing very quickly, and in certain areas, for example in Himachal Pradesh, forest department is capturing these rhesus macaque and doing the sterilization program to control their population. Sometimes we need to capture the animal for the research purpose. For example, we want to study tiger, we want to know their home ranges, and we want to know the home ranges, we want to fit the radio collar. So for this purpose, we need to capture the tiger or the other wild animals if we want to put the radio collars. And sometimes to check physical and psychological parameters. So for example, we want to check the presence of certain viruses or bacteria or some other parameters of some population, and we want to have that blood profile of certain individuals or certain population. So we need to collect the blood from these animals. So for collection of the blood, or we need to capture the wild animals. For collection of samples, if there is some disease or pandemic and some spread of virus, then we need to collect the samples from the wild population we need to capture. And for clinical evaluation, treatment and surgery, there are some time that animals become sick and there are some injuries and there are some diseases, so we need to capture the wild animals to provide them treatment. So There are two types of capture of wild animals. One is physical capture. So we can capture by using physical methods, where we can use traps, nets and snares to capture the wild animals. Second is chemical capture. So in chemical capture we use chemical drugs to capture the animals. So we will learn about the chemical capture of wild animals. So in chemical capture we use the drugs to capture the wild animals. Chemical capture or immobilization. A drug or chemical is used to restrict the movement of an animal, or sometimes just to sedate or calm down the animal. So in chemical capture we use a drug to restrict the movement or calm down the animal. Historically, chemical restraint can be traced when South American tribes used curare coated arrows to immobilize animal for hunting for food. So these tribes use these arrows coated with a natural chemical which immobilize the animals. So this is the beginning of chemical immobilization of the wild animal. Beginning of the chemical immobilization process dates back to late 1950 by rangers in South Africa. If we are taking the example of wildlife management, then the people that rangers in South Africa are using the chemical immobilize from the 1950s. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of chemical immobilization or chemical capture of wild animals? So chemical capture allow examining and treating sick and injured animals or animal caught in snares or trapped in the wilds. Sometimes some animals are caught in snares or traps in the wild, put by the butchers or the local communities to consume the wild animals, and these animals got injured. So by chemical capture we can treat these animals. And this also restraint the selective aggressive animals within a group of animals, because through the chemical capture or immobilization we can select a particular animal for which, because we want to have, like if we want to fit a red collar on a female, then we can selectively dart or give the medicine or the drug to the selective animals, while it is not possible into the physical capture, because if we set up the snares or the traps, then any animals can trap into these snares and traps. And that equipment required for chemical capture or restraint is easy to transport, because they are not very heavy equipment, so we can easily transport these equipment to any site in the wildlife areas. But there are certain disadvantages of the chemical captures. There is occasional failure of the equipment on sites. When we are planning to chemical capture of a particular animal, then there is a chances of failure of the equipment. In that case, we are not able to capture the animals, and lots of efforts will be wasted. There are some undesirable side effects of drug in unknown, excited or diseased animal, because in wild it is not possible to accurately or precisely judge the fitness of the animal or the physiological parameters of the animal. So there are some side effects of drug on the excited or diseased animal. If some animals are highly excited, or they are that darted, or the animal selected for the chemical capture it has some disease, then the drug can have some negative impact, or it have undesirable side effect on the animal, and sometimes it leads to the death of the animal. It is possible that during that chemical capture we have improper darting of animal, and because to capture the animal we need to put the drug on a specified area, but as the animals is not under our control in the wild conditions, it is possible that we dart the animal at some improper place, and which leads to the injury or fatal injuries to the animal. Chemical capture method cannot be applied for mass capture of animals because we cannot apply these chemical capture method if we want to capture large number of animals for the management purposes. So there are some important terms in the chemical capture. Anesthesia, a state of total loss of sensation in body induced by a drug that depresses activity of nervous tissue peripherally or centrally. Analgesia, the loss of sensibility to pain without loss of consciousness. Narcosis, a state of sleep accompanied by analgesia. Hypnosis, artificially induced sleep-like state from which the animal can be aroused by any external stimuli. Sedation, calming due to mild degree of depression of central nervous system. Most sedative cause drowsiness. So sometimes we just provide the sedative drugs to the animals to calm down the animal while we are treating the animals. Tranquilization, a state of behavioral change in which the animal is relaxed and unconcerned by its surrounding. If we are doing some surgery, then we tranquilize the wild animals to fit the radio collars. So in this state, animal is not affected by the change in his environment or the surroundings. Then we have balanced anesthesia. General anesthesia produced by a combination of two or more anesthetic drugs or techniques to achieve optimum hypnosis, analgesia and muscular relaxation. General anesthesia, it is complete unconsciousness produced by a process of controlled reversible intoxication of central nervous system in which there is a muscle relaxation and diminished response to external stimuli. So then what is the drug delivery system? When we are trying to give the drug to immobilize the wild animals, what is the drug delivery system? So various routes of drug administration are. So we can give the drug orally. So there are oral drugs can be mixed in water and food. Then these food are put into the wild conditions and animal feed on these drugs mixed in water and food. Then we have handheld syringes. So there are some syringes which are handhelds and they are just fitted on a long jab sticks, and they are the regular syringes, and these can be fitted on the jab sticks and we can give the drug through these jab sticks. But for that we need to have the animal inside the case. Then we have remotely projected syringes or dart, like we have blowpipe, blowguns, gun pistols, and these are used to give the drugs to animals in the free wild condition, because we cannot use these hand-handled syringes to give medicine or the drugs to immobilize or the anesthetize these wild animals. So we use remotely projected dart syringes or the dart to immobilize the animals in free wild conditions. Remotely projected syringes or projectile dart syringes used for most of the chemical immobilization procedure. So this is the most recent technique, and this is used in most of the chemical immobilization position equipments. So what are the equipments we used for such purposes? Immobilization equipment is comprised of two components: projector, also like a cartridge or cartridge holder, barrel, rifle and pistol. So it project the syringes or the projectiles from the gun. And then we have a projectile or dart or flying syringe. It is a needle. Needle is a vital component of the dart. So this projectile dart is the part where we store the medicine to give to the wild animal, while the projector is used to throw or to dart this medicine till the animal. So this is the diagram of remotely projected syringe or projectile dart syringes used for most of the chemical immunization procedure. Dart has three components: needle with sleeve, barrel of syringe, oblique dart for drug, and a rear side stabilizer. So this is the traditional blowpipe in which that doctors or veterinary doctors or the scientists give the medicine to the animal which is inside the case. So it is a 1 or 2 meter pipe and 5 ml dart will be used, and it will be only used for 10 to 15 meter range, and it required lot of practice to dart the animals. So that drug is delivered to the animals till the animals with the pressure of from the mouth of the person who is handling the blowpipe. Then we have pistols. Pressure to fire the dart is built up by using either foot pump or a carbon dioxide cartridge, and can be used for the 20 to 40 meters. If the animal is 20 to 40 meters from the scientist or the doctor, then these pistols can be used to give the medicine or to do the tranquilized or the anesthesia or the immobilized drug to the animal. And sometimes the power represent danger to animal. If you have more power and it dart to the animal, then it can be fatal to the animal, and it does not have an accurate sight, and generally it is recommended for darting animals in pens and at close range, but it is not mostly recommended for the animals in the wild conditions. Then we have rifle. It can be used till 50 to 70 meters, but range of the animal depend on the field condition. If the forest is very dense, then the visibility is very low and we cannot dart the animal from 50 to 70 meters. So in wild condition it will be around 30 meters we can use till from the below 30 meter to dart the animal in the wild conditions. So this rifle is most effective in wild condition and mostly used by the scientists and the research scientists or the veterinary doctor to dart or immobilize the animal in wild condition where the animals are in free ranging. So these are the diagrams of the different models of these rifles are available, commercially available in the market to immobilize the wild animals in wild. So while we are darting the animals, we have to while the animals are darted, or we are preparing for darting the animals to give the medicine to these rifles in the wild, we should take care and we should decide where we will dart the animals, because we cannot dart the animal at any place. There are certain specified areas where we can dart the animals. So mostly we select the areas which has large muscle masses are the ideal darting sites. Hindquarters are in most of the species are the best place to target the animal, because these hindquarters has the large muscle masses. In some species the base of the neck or the triceps muscle are more suitable. So they are the sometimes these darting sites are vary from species to species. Base of the neck region, this area is suitable for animals with heavy necks such as the rhino, the hippopotamus, or large antelopes like nilgai, causing little muscle trauma. So we can use base of the neck to dart the animals like rhino, hippopotamus, or nilgai. Tricep muscles region. The biceps and triceps are easy to dart from the ground, particularly in animals like the rhino or the elephant. If animal is too thin, its hindquarters are the preferable area for darting. Hindquarters. With the most muscle masses for large target area, the hindquarters is the most common and desirable darting site. It has only a few vital structures, so this is the most suitable parts because we have very few chances to damage the vital structure of the animals. Withers and rumps. These spots can be a small target when practitioners aim from the side or from above using a helicopter, but usually present a good muscle mass, especially in rhino. But in India, we are not using the helicopters, so it is not used in most of the cases in India. Chest. Not chest is not a common place to dart an animal. The pectoral area is an option for darting if no alternative site is available in rhino and buffalo. So these are the diagrams. These are the diagrams of the various darting site in different animals, and these are the where we can dart the animals. So what are the factors affecting chemical restraints? So there are some factors which can affect the chemical restraint or chemical immobilization of the animals. The age, sex, health condition, environmental factors. What are the temperature, humidity, all these factors, environmental factors, and the age, sex and health condition of the animal can affect the chemical restraint or chemical immobilization of the animals. So before restraining or chemical immobilization of animal, it is important to understand the biology of the target species. For example, we need to understand the heart rate, respiration rate, temperature, weight and behavior of the animals. And at the same time, we need to understand and we should have the idea of the habitat structure of the area where we are targeting the animal. For example, what is the vegetation, whether it's a dense vegetation, whether it's a sparse vegetation, and what is the terrain. If the terrain is very difficult, then it is very difficult to follow the animal. Or water bodies, we should also consider if there is some nearby water bodies. If water bodies is very close to the animal, then we should avoid darting the animal, because sometimes it is possible that that animal will fall down into the water and it leads to the death of the animal. So what type of the drugs are available in the market? So generally we classified the drugs into two broad categories. It's like a nature and classification of the drugs. So broadly we can divide the available drugs into two categories. There are some neuromuscular blocking drugs. So these are the neuro blocking muscular drugs. So these neuromuscular drugs has narrow safety margins and failure of respiratory system. So if we are using these neuromuscular blocking drugs, then they can affect the respiratory system of the animal, and sometimes the respiratory system is failed and leads to the death of the animal. And mostly these are not suitable for the wild animals which are free rangings. There are some drugs. Then the another category is central nervous system depressants, and these, for example, diazepams. So these drugs can act as a tranquilizer, and mostly these drugs are used to chemically immobilize wild animals which are free in our forested areas. On finer scales, the drugs used for animal immobilization can be classified under 5 categories. Tranquilizers. These drugs produce calming effect and do not immobilize animal aroused by pain or fear. Then sedative or hypnotic cause depression of central nervous system in coordination sleep. Then we have narcotize. morphine, opium derivatives, powerful painkillers cause CNS depression and anesthesia. Then we have dissociatives, anesthetic, which create a state of immobilization and analgesia. Then we have neuromuscular blocking agents, muscle relaxants. So what is the action of drug or through neuro? So that action of drug also depend on the route of administration. So if the drug is administered through intravenous, then it has rapidly act on the animal. If it is intramuscular, then it will take some time to act on the animals. And that effectivity or the time taken by the drug to act on the animal also depend on the weight, age and sex of animals, and sometimes the time of the day, because if depressant are more effective at the end of the animal day, if we are using depressant to chemically immobilized animal, then they are more effective at the end of the day, because at the end of the day animals are more exhausted. And temperament of the animals, if the animal is excited, then it take very long time to get chemically restrained, and if it is calm, then it will quickly restrain. Food, if animal's stomach is flow, then it will slow down the time of drug absorption, and it leads to the more time to restrain the animal. And the health of the animal, the health of the animal also play important role in chemically restraint of the animals. So these are the factors which affect the anesthesia responses among the wild animals: age, size and body weight, sex, species, physical conditions, pregnancy and season. So before doing chemical restraint of the animal, we should consider all these factors, and we should have like a clear idea or the knowledge of these factors. And after having clear idea of these factors, then only we can plan the chemical restraint or chemical immobilization of the animals. So these are the combination of various drugs and the doses of the various drugs used to chemically restrain or immobilize various animals, wild animals. These are the some other drugs which are used for these are the combination of drugs, and these are the doses to chemically immobilized the animals like Asiatic, rhinoceros, Asiatic elephants. So when we are deciding the dose for the animals, slightly lower doses are given for females or subadult, higher dose for the adults, male. Species such as elephant and rhinoceros should be approached with care while darting, because these animals are dangerous animals, and sometimes these species can attack after darting the animals. So if you are approaching the animal on foot, we should take proper care, and we should have a proper distance from the animal, and we should have proper care. Otherwise it is fatal for the persons who involved in the operation of darting the animal. Approaching the animal on riding elephant with Mahabhat should be preferred where terrain and vegetation do not permit vehicles. So if we are in an area where car or our vehicle is not go due to the difficult terrains, then we can dart or we can chemically immobilized animals by riding on elephant back with Mahabhats. Elephant and rhino may charge and run a considerable distance in response to darting them. So we should, if they can run and sometimes they can charge, so we should have a ready team who can follow the animals after the darting. Physiological variables during anesthesia. Immediately after complete anesthesia, animals need to be monitored for various physical parameters such as body temperature, respiration, heart rate, and blood oxygen saturation throughout the anesthesia period, and as and when required, corrective measures need to be taken. So these physiological variables should be taken immediately after the darting of the animals. If there is some changes and there is some in the physiological variables, then we should take the corrective measures. Otherwise, the darting will be fatal to the animal and it leads to the death of the animal. Antagonist or antidotes. So there are some drugs which are known as the antagonists or antidotes. So these drugs these drugs reverse the anesthetic effect of tranquilization. So if we are tranquilized and we can chemically immobilize the animals, and then we can complete our procedure, whatever the purpose is of our that chemically tranquilization of the animals, and when we finished our purpose of chemical immobilization of the animal, then we immediately we give these antidotes to animals to come into the normal state. Alpha 2 androgenic antagonists such as euhombine hydrochloride, tolazoline hydrochloride, and antipamazole are safe and are commonly used in wild animals. So handling of immobilized animals. So handling of immobilized animal is very imperative or very important aspect of any operation of chemical capture of wild animals. So monitor the complete immobilization process and should know what to do if something goes wrong. So if we are doing any chemical capture of animals and giving drug for the chemical restraint of the animal, then we should monitor the immobilization process, and we should know the person who is involved or who is heading the operation should know what should be done if something goes wrong. If the animal is feeling problem in breathing, then immediately we should give the oxygen to the animal. Keep the darted animal in sight and allow the drug to act. So it is also necessary that we should follow the animal and keep the animal in sight and allow the drug to act on the animal. So we should not approach the animal before the drug act on the animal completely, which may generally take 5 to 20 minutes. So generally that drugs take 5 to 20 minutes to act completely on the animals, and when you feel that drugs completely act on the animal, then you check animal for pedal and tail reflexes by probing it lightly with a bamboo sticks. So before touching or reaching the animals, we should check the pedal and tail reflexes by prodding it lightly with a bamboo stick, because we can take a lengthy bamboo stick, then we can check the pedal and tail reflexes in the animal before reaching the animal or touching the animal, or before starting the procedure or the treatment or the putting of radiocollar on the animal. The animal should be thoroughly checked for any wound or abrasions. If there is any wound or any injury on the animal, then it should be treated immediately. The tranquilized or the restrained animals should be put into the shade, and shade should be provided to the animals, and a dark soft blindfold over the eyes, so that animals should feel comfort and should not be disturbed by the surrounding movement of the people who are involved in the operation of chemical capture of the species. Thank you.